Okay. Good evening to all our viewers this evening. Good evening to the folks in Berbice that are joining us through Dave's TV, and good evening to all the persons that are looking from Facebook through the social media platforms. Now, tonight it's a pleasure to be with you. You know, Alliance on the Move. We have a program every single Saturday that we come to you folks in Berbice, and it's always a pleasure to be here. And tonight, I have the pleasure of being in company with Mr. Derek Bazdio and also Mr. Ricky Ramsru, both executive members of the Alliance for Change. So, welcome. Thank you for the hour that you're going to be spending with us tonight, and we look forward to bringing you credible information. We know that every single week we come here and we bring you what is happening around the country. The program is not necessarily designed to bring you negative news, but it so happens that unfortunately there's a lot of negative things happening throughout the length and breadth of Guyana, and we are going to bring you the news exactly as it is. So allow me to give my panel the opportunity to introduce themselves and give some brief opening statements. I will first give the opportunity to Mr. Derek Bazio, please say something to yours tonight.
Hello, my friends in the panel. All right, viewers out there in Guyana and in the diaspora. We want to thank you for the next hour that you're going to be spending with us tonight to listen to the views and observation, and it's all facts. And you're going to hear it from the three of us, nothing to lie about. Thank you.
Mr. Ramsru, Ricky Ramsru.
Thank you, Jorita, and thank you, Bazdio.
These gentlemen have been here for a while. I'm interjecting, Ricky. Both these gentlemen are no stranger to Berbice and no stranger to Guyanese people. They have been here, they have been fighting, they've been on the ground. And Ricky, let me hear from you.
All right, thank you, Jorita. I want to say good evening to my friends and family in Berbice and to all our citizens there in that region. Also, those on Facebook that are watching right now and across Guyana, and those international persons who have joined us too, also on the social media. I want to say good evening to you and your family. Stay safe, get vaxxed, and protect your family.
All right. So for persons that are now joining, I would just like to say that welcome to the Alliance on the Move program, and to the folks joining us on social media, especially Facebook. Thank you for being with us yet another Saturday evening. We look forward to having a very fruitful discussion this evening. There's so much happening. So to start it off, I would like to have some comments on Ricky. And Ricky, if you could, I would like to ask you to give an update on the COVID situation in Guyana, because this is something that we've been dealing with for a while. We know the poor management of the COVID pandemic altogether by the health minister in Guyana is nothing to be proud about. So Ricky, if you could just walk us through the update as it stands today, how are we progressing or not progressing with COVID-19 in Guyana?
Well, Jorita, thank you very much for this opportunity to speak on COVID-19. The deadly virus. First, I wanted to express and state still my sincere condolences to Mr. Imran Khan, which is one of our colleagues that's passed away in the COVID-19 center, aka the Kill Center. I'm sorry I call it the Kill Center, but because that is what it is. And you're going to see the statistics that I can give you just now. Look, things the curve ain't flattening, and that is important here. They are not doing anything much other than having people to be vaccinated to control that COVID-19 virus and the spread of it. That's the only thing they're trying to do. But at the same time, they're not putting the system in place to restrict the movements and to keep the other guidelines that the WHO recommend that we should all keep and abide by. That is not happening. So last week, Jurita, I want to mention this also, that we had Dr. Somar, who is a medical doctor, works in the United States system of medical, and who advises us to get vaxxed and to ensure that those who have contracted the deadly virus, to ensure that they wait at least approximately 3 months before they can get the vaccine, or depends on that individual doctor advises to take that vaccine. Look, today alone it's about 4 deaths. Yesterday was 4. So yesterday was the first, that is the second. That's 8 in 2 days. When we look at the month of September, we have 167 deaths in the month of September. We have a total of 6,279 new cases of the COVID-19 virus victims. We have 3,500 active cases, which means that you're going to see that number that I said yesterday was 4 and today is 4 is going to keep going like that. So there's nothing that's showing or what is telling us that the government here is trying to get the number down. That is what they're not focusing on. How do you get the number down? Getting the vaccination, Jurita, you and I know that is not going to prevent you from being contracted the virus. It ain't going to prevent you from spreading it. Therefore, you have to ensure that you get the system and the guidelines that the WHO prescribe. Follow them. Some countries, up to now, China is not fully opened. You know, countries are still under lockdown because you have the Delta variant, and the Delta variant is here, and they're not talking much about it. Then we have to prepare for the 3rd and the 4th wave. Are they talking about it? Our children has to be vaxxed. Pfizer announces that the Pfizer vaccine is safe from age 5 to 12. Are they talking about that? You know, these are the things that they have to talk about here, and we're not seeing them doing it enough of it. Look, I tell you the number of cases today. Today's cases alone is 242 cases today of persons who have tested positive for the COVID-19 virus. 242. I just got one of the RDC councils went to the Cane Grove today that vaxxed 260 persons. Now, I'm going to refer to my community that live here, Cove and John. We have several vaccination done here. We haven't got one over 2 months now. So if you want people to get vaxxed, then you have to start still doing the same thing to get it. If you want to achieve herd immunity, still doing what you're doing. Why are you stopping? Are you using us as guinea pig again? Are you want persons to, or you wanted to show the international? Well, we already rank as a destination not safe to travel because of the we have gone into the, what do they call it? I think there's the top tier of the country that given the index to show that we are out of control. The virus here are out of control. So
Yeah.
people will not travel here. So we are, and that it was announced by the United States. So this is really troubling, Jurita. It is really troubling to see really what's happening. So I therefore call on my brothers and sisters in Barbies to get vaxxed. Ensure that those who have the medical conditions, you are free to ask or get advices from your doctor before you take that vaccine. Just ensure that you do that, because we keep saying that the people are saying the opposition is not encouraging people to take the vaccine. So there's a difference between taking the vaccine and forced vaccination, and that is why people are not getting quite clear, and they need to understand that what we are saying that go and get vaxxed. If you have a medical condition, consult your doctor. That's all we are saying.
All right, Ricky. Thank you so much for those statistics. I know that for the longest while, every single time we come on air, we have to be talking about COVID-19 because it is something that is not going away, and it's our responsibility to make sure that we encourage persons to take all the necessary precautions and practice all the necessary safety habits so that you and your family will be safe. And again, we keep saying that the COVID 19 vaccine, well, like Ricky said, the opposition has never once made any statement that suggests that we are anti vaccination. But on the contrary, we have made several statements at every single forum saying, encouraging persons to go out there and get vaccinated and so forth. So, definitely, we need you to take all the precautions because this is not going anywhere. And I keep saying the country's most important resource is a human resource. Without the human resource, we are nothing. So we need to take care of ourselves. We need to make sure that our family is safe. And also we need to remember that the vaccine it is not a cure. The vaccine does not stop you from getting or spreading COVID-19. So I know a lot of persons are out there that is actually making the suggestion that persons that are vaccinated probably are spreading the virus more because they are being more reckless. And this is something that I strongly suggest that when persons are vaccinated, you continue to do everything that you were doing before. Continue to sanitize, continue to wear masks, continue to do everything possible to keep your family safe because the vaccine does not protect your family. Unlike what has been reported on a lot of government pages. I think it is ludicrous, and they need to retract those statements. So on that note, I know Mr. Bazio, you're in Barbados, and how is it? How are things progressing there? Do you see any light at the end of the tunnel when it comes to the management of COVID-19 in Barbados right now?
Well, yesterday we were doing some NGO things, some voluntary work I did with the advertisement because they were vaccinating people in 3 locations for this weekend. Fort Ordnance yesterday, today in Angais Avenue, and tomorrow at the Outback in Gangaram Kanji. And it was a successful thing because I drove by at the Fort Ordnance one yesterday, and there was quite a lot of people, awaiting their vaccines yesterday, and they were very cooperative. Also, Dr. Thomas did a wonderful job there. Like Ricky said, our learned doctor overseas, Dr. Rohan Somar, gave so much of information on one of our programs, and people should adhere to it. When doctors are telling you to take these advice, jump on board and take it. It's not, I get my Pfizer both sides, but I take my precautions. I don't go out at night like before and go hang out and things like that. And I always keep my mask on, But across Berbice, as I go across, people are very, very, the negligence and the risk and everything that kicks in, that, it's just a shame. And you could talk to them and, they don't listen to you sometimes. They look, especially the men, they think they're like macho men. No mask and things like that in some places. And quite a lot, Miss Jaretta, a lot of bars are opening in Berbice, especially from the Thursday to the Sunday night. If you got to drink a beer or go into the alcohol thing, definitely you got to take your mask off. Nobody wants to wear any mask. And the bar owners, they want the patrons, so they don't care. They don't ask. They know that you're a spender. They're going to allow you to go in the place. They're not going to check for no COVID or anything like that. So, brothers and sisters out there, please take advantage of this and go and be vaccinated. You see, Ricky was mentioning how it's climbing, 4 and then 4 again. Please, let's do something about it. Collectively, we could make this happen.
Yeah, and thank you for that. I know that you mentioned that the bars are being opened in Barbados. Would you say that those bars are open all night, or they are closing off earlier as the guidelines are so stipulates?
Well, this thing called bribery is something very bad. The police do so much. They do. I live opposite the station, as I always mention. They do a wonderful job. But they got to look out people. These bar owners got to look out people. know when the police are coming, because police don't have different kind of vehicles that they use. Sometimes they get one or two vehicle per station, and they look out people, just give the signal, they tune on the music, they close off the lights and things like that, and after the police left, they're gone again. And then
Yeah.
these guys are, they're not knowing that they're risking people, that they could be their brother, their sister, their mom or dad, somebody get affected by one of these people patronizing their bars and going home or going into the neighborhood the next day, and their family members can get hurt with that.
Yeah.
you know
Well, thank you for that, and thank you for that final comment, because persons need. I want persons, and I want to plead with people that no matter how strong you believe you are, this is a virus, and you do not know your body's ability to fight it off. So don't risk your life, and don't risk the life of your family just to go out and have a few drinks with some friends. It's not worth it. So on behalf of the Alliance for Change, I am pleading with persons to desist from that. And once we have accomplished herd immunity within the country, we'll be able to move forward in it's a safer manner, so that our families and ourselves will not be put at risk. I know in wrapping up in this segment of our discussion, again, I would like to just ask Ricky to just say the final words before we move on this COVID-19 aspect.
Yeah, thank you, Jurita. And as Derek mentioned too, look, this thing is serious. We have to protect ourselves, protect our loved ones. I saw somebody comments that people are advising, despite you being vaxxed, you also need to take the same protocols: social distancing, wash your hands, sanitize it. When you come home, take your clothes off, put it right there in the wash thing. You do those basic things. Keep doing it, because, as I said, there are different wave of this virus. And because of the poor communication from government, you don't know what is around, and that is so hard. That's gonna hurt you inside, because we keep telling them over and over: keep the communication open, keep it stronger. People need to understand. You know how Guyanese stay. It takes a while, and before they can get into it. Fortunately, we took ours early, very early, because we understand the science. But not everybody like me and you. And so that's why I am very happy here to speak to my brothers and sisters in Berbice, to encourage them to go and take the vaccination, be vaxxed, ensure that you follow all the protocols, all the guidelines. And this thing is not going, as Jorita said, it's not going anywhere for now. We have seen many schools open and closed, and that can tell you that it's getting worse. So stay safe, and we're going to end this topic here and move to another one. So just get yourself vaccinated.
All right. Thank you so much, Ricky, and thank you, Vazdio, for those comments. Now, I want to
You're
move
welcome.
into a discussion that pertains not only to Barbados, that has far-reaching implications to the entire country, but I want specifically, I'll ask Mr. Vazdio to jump in with the initial remarks with this, because I want to discuss further the cash grant to farmers. And I say that this has far-reaching implications to the entire country, because it's not the first set of cash grant that is being distributed by this administration. But although it is not the first cash grant, we see the pattern from the other grants that were distributed before. We see a pattern of corruption, basically. And I want, Mr. Bazzi, I want to hear what you have to say about what is going on the ground there. We've been monitoring the situation. We have been receiving endless calls. We've been receiving so much complaints as to the distribution and the lack of fairness. And this is nothing new when we're discussing the PPP administration. We have been hearing this since this started. And we even mentioned the pink slip when they started with the COVID-19 cash grant distribution. Up to today, persons are yet to receive monies. They moved on to other distributions, and now here they are in Barbies. And I would say this: I know that we're on social media and we have persons listening from all over the country. And I want to especially commend the persons in Barbies for standing up for their rights. I know that the last time I was on here, I was asking persons to not be afraid to go out and speak out for your rights. And I am very proud of the persons in Barbies that stood up and said, enough is enough, and they're going to speak out against what they see as corruption, what they see as injustice. So, Mr. Bazio, please go ahead and let me know what is going on the ground there with regards to the cash grant to farmers.
Yes. Folks, thank you, Miss Jaretta. Folks, it's no joke out there what's happening. Up to this afternoon, and Miss Jaretta was just talking about the pink slip. People approaching me. The vice chairman for Region 6 RDC, Regional Democratic Council, was there because he showed up there with some of his employees because of what the people and himself saw in the ring last night. Total exposure bridge, and Mr. Ricky know what I'm talking about because we were there last Wednesday. Because of our presence, they're starting to do things, and everybody there, they went for the bridge. But as soon as I show up, they were talking about the cash grant on top of the bridge. They say how disappointed they are. Ricky was there. The guy said he didn't for 400 ducks, and it's Muscovy ducks ready to sell, right? Leaving out the ducklings and everything. This was big ducks, and the guys lost everything and didn't get a dime for it, right? People in 74 Village, people in Skeldon, Limpat, they suffered. A poultry farmer who knows me very well lost chicken when he went and approached the people, and the guy who was going to do the observation, the guy said, "Oh man, you rich." The man said, "Listen, I'm a guy, I'm a kind-hearted guy. I give back to the committee, and I didn't receive nothing for my losses. All the money I spend with feed, you tell me what I'm rich? I spend money for feed and everything else." The workers who work the pump for the pump owners, some of them didn't get paid up to now because they said the pump owners use them. I got some names. Also in Blackbush, and you could see it yesterday on national TV within the ring, all these ladies complaining they didn't receive their money, how much rice they lost, and who didn't plant next door neighbor cash crop. One lady said over 30 acres, she reported, and they came and take information and no money came to her, right? It's mostly Miss Jaretta, and Ricky could stand by me with this. The people are saying plain and straight, as friends and family, and I'm not going to even use the word allege. Everybody, a kindergarten kid in Berbice know that their parents didn't get money, and they had cash crop. They lost vegetables, they lost ducklings, they lost chicken. I'm sorry for some of these people. Up to this afternoon, your heart goes out to these people. This PPP administration with their friends and families, and some of these contractors who took advantage of the situation. What happened? Their drag lines and their backhoe and things like that duck under the water. They gotta get so much of money because they are friends of these PPP guys. No, it's not gonna happen. This month, next Thursday is our RDC meeting, and I plan to bring that up. And I'm gonna be very, very harsh with it. The journalist who shows up there, they don't take our information. We are aggressive opposition, and we have to be like that. We don't have to be empowered and to not see the fairness going back to the people. Everybody got to be thinking, sometimes you got to put politics aside and watch the trouble these people are going through. And with this administration taking this kind of advantage, it's too much. Enough is enough. It's too much, Ms. Jaretta. And, Ricky, you heard the people cries Wednesday afternoon in Guava Bush. The cries was too much with ducks, with the water, and the water takes so long to recede. It was too much. And with our presence there Wednesday afternoon, then they're deciding to come into the neighborhood from then to today.
Wow.
Like this afternoon.
Wow. All right, Derek, thank you so much for that very candid introduction into what is going on over there. We're not finished with this discussion, far from. Ricky, I want you to jump in at this point in time because I know you would have accompanied Mr. Bazdio, and you guys would have met with persons, and you would have had a direct feel of what is going on the ground as it pertains to this distribution to the farmers. Now, Mr. Bazio touched a little bit on the fact that, but he touched extensively on the fact that the persons that lost so much is not getting this grant. But Enrique, like, where is it going?
So,
$10 billion approved in Parliament. You and I sat there. Where is it going? What was it approved for?
well, that is so. So it's the same question that we asked in Parliament, and then we asked them what system or mechanism they have in place to distribute or to learn from the COVID-19 cash grant that you speak about, because we learned the corruption of that. But I want to tell you this, and I've been telling this, and I think I was telling my friend Gobin Harbajan from Barbies. They are doing exactly what they want. That is your system. It would not change. Barbishan, my friends, listen to me. It is not going to change. No, the only way you're gonna change, you have to change it. You did the right thing the other day when I saw those women that were they're using explicit languages. They had a right to, and they did the right thing, Jurita. And that is what you do. You stand up for your right. You understand me? And because you know what, this time in a long time, as my friend Mark Bencham just say on the radio program, you have a right to stand up when things are not going right. You have a right to stand up. You understand? I want to say special good evening and good night to the people in Guava Bush at Albion, in Albion there, because they came, they say they want to talk to us. The PPP went about going back house to house and telling people them not to come to the meeting. Just imagine that. What are you scared of, man? What are you scared of? Because I have collapsed bridge or an inferior bridge that you build for the people are there, and then you go upgrade the dam, the mud dam for the people. A mud dam, you're going to grade to tell them not to come to the meeting. These people, we are responsible. I'm a member of parliament here. Derek Bazzi was a regional councillor there. We got to solve these people, and if they want to talk to us, they have a right to talk to us. Don't bribe the people. Then put top of it, they're going to rob the people, and they can't cut us them in the back there with a weight and the scale. Then, you know what the guy said, Jorita? The guy said, when he watching the scale, he getting full weight. He getting 6 ton, 5 ton, and so on. As soon as he back turn and leave it, the thing gone to 50% down. He getting 2 ton and 1.5 ton on these things. You can't do that. You say you're going to show up in the sugar estate. You say you're going to bring back the sugar estate. Zulfi stop your chest in parliament. I say you can bring back the sugar estate. What happened, Zulfi? What happened? What happened, Zulfi? The people in Guava Bush want to see you there. Go and talk with them. The people say, what 2 months are trying to get you, Zulfi. Go and talk with them. I'm telling you to go and talk with them. I went to talk to them. You go and talk to them now.
Yeah.
Because I set the case for you there. You know these things here are out of line, Jorita. The corruption. Now the other days, some people, so other woman in Blackbush got the COVID. Some of them didn't get it. Some of them got it. And it's, oh God, about vote for the cup. This is a thing that they're trying to do to y'all. That money got done just now, you know. It got done just now.
Because, but I want to jump in here with something that you just said, because you said that when you went to meet with the persons were going around, representatives of the PP were going around telling them not to speak with you, not to come to the meeting, and so forth. And I'm glad that you mentioned the persons from Blackbush Polder, because that was a video that actually made its rounds on social media, and I want specifically to comment on that. This is not pre-2015, in which persons are not aware of what is going on. This is not pre-2015 when the PP could just go and tell their supporters or the area in which they have a strong base not to go and attend meetings, where persons would be afraid to go out and attend meetings because they know that the vindictiveness that will come thereafter. Today, this is a technological age, and everyone has access to information. And I'm very, very proud to say that Ms. Cathy Hughes, another executive member, the vice chairman of the Alliance to Change, was very instrumental in getting internet access to Guyanese across this country. And because of that, today, no matter how much a representative of the PPP go and tell people not to go to a meeting, people are still getting the information, because the same way we're here tonight and we're going not only through the TV station but through social media, we are disseminating information in a more technologically advanced form. And I strongly believe, and I've been saying it, that the PP was not ready for to handle a population that is informed. And today we see that firsthand. Persons know the women that were speaking from Blackbush Polder, they were blatantly saying, this is what is going on, and they're waiting for the local government election to come, and they're not going to vote for the PVP. And this is the very first time that you can hear such vigor and while hearing such anger in persons' voices, because they realize finally persons are step by step they're realizing that the PPP does not care about poor people, and these little initiatives that are being put in place are not to benefit poor people. The little ravelins that are going to be sprinkled on the poor people, it's nothing compared to the millions of dollars that are being distributed to persons that really did not lose anything during the flood. And it's a very, very sad situation altogether.
Jurita, I want to mention two more points on that visit there. There's a housing scheme there that called Tulku that is 20 years there without transport. 20 years. So I hope that the Minister of Housing or whoever is responsible to go and look into that thing. Then also the contractor for the bridge that we're talking about, that they reduce the span of the bridge by increasing the revetment and putting single board, is Zulfa Kassan, Jaffer Mustafa. I mean, come on, not because of that you got to do a substandard work. So that's what the people is calling you, Mr. Zulfa. Go and visit them.
This particular topic, I think we're far from completion on actually putting to light all the corruption that is undergoing with this distribution exercise. So definitely we'll be doing a lot more work, and I can say to the people of Berbice that we have Mr. Bazio online tonight, and he is there. He's a counselor, the RDC counselor. You can go to him at any point in time, and you can let him know what is going on, and he's going to assist in every way possible, especially when it comes to highlighting the corruption under the PVP administration. And Ricky, I know that you've been very supportive and you've been on the ground in Berbice, and I thank you tremendously from being there. So I encourage persons not to stop, not to be blinded by any phone call that is being made, not to be intimidated into not attending meetings and so forth. And even if you cannot, you will be welcome, and you have freedom of information today. So you're going to be online at this time and you're going to be listening. So no more, gone are the days when somebody could block off vital information from getting to the ears of the population. So I know we have a few more topics that we have to move forward on. So Mr. Vazdio, I'm going to put you on the spot once more, and I'm going to ask you to lead in the discussion when it comes to the rising cost of living, increased cost of living throughout the length and breadth of Guyana. What is going on? What is going on?
Prices supposed to come down, but it's kind of inflating. I think one or two people are taking a little bit of advantage. Joretta and Mr. Ricky was there with us on Wednesday at a few locations. But as I travel the length and breadth, I go into Blackbush. People are getting back some vegetables and some peppers, but the price of pepper and some commodities are high. Come on, farmers, you got to look out for the people. Don't continue with the advantage, let everybody live. And I'm thinking, and I was emphasizing it with the sugar workers, their moms, sisters, and things like that got to wake up early morning. They start their morning like 3:30, And Miss Jaretta, you wouldn't believe that's the time like today, the people are talking about the water shut off because of the electricity blackout. Everything is chain in command. price, supply, and demand. You know, they rather to take advantage of these people in Berbice and send their produce out of the county of Berbice. You know, and then what remain here in Berbice, the price is high. But you know, some of these farmers, when I talk to them, they say, well, you know, they got to state like that because the losses that they suffered, and this administration didn't give them no money to compensate for their losses. They had to see their best how they could accumulate back the money that they spend on fertilizer and other plows and other things for their crop. You know, so I don't really blame them. So you got to be a little bit silent and a little bit flexible with these people when they tell their stories. You know, cost of living is high. And plus, in the Chinese store also, you know, the prices are skyrocketing. You know, it's different commodities. It's not only vegetables and cash crop. You know, like this flood went into these guys' store and affected their bears and things like that because they plus $40 on bear and things like that. You know, everything across Berbice. You know, it's a shame what's going on with these prices. You know, most definitely we got to put some stoppage to some of these guys who are taking this kind of advantage. You know, these are the things I'm going to bring up at the RDC because I got a couple of notes and it's facts, and you know, it's cannot continue. We got to do something collectively, right? All across Guyana, I think it's affecting Region 4 and all over too with these prices.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned a lot, and you're speaking more so about the cash crop and so forth, and produce that is coming directly out of Berbice. But Ricky, I want you to jump in at this point because when we speak about the rising costs in imported goods, what do you have to say about that?
So we know that the shipping cost is the one that's rising, making the costs of these goods and so on to go up. That's as the imported one. The local one, I don't understand what's happening. I don't know what's the rise in it. I don't know what is that import you got to put into the board or the balance or whatever, or the pepper that they're just thinking about.
On that note,
but the imported one, I know the shipping cost is actually triple. The government has
right there. I want to jump in right there because we would have noted recently that the government actually sent out this notice saying that they were reverting the cost of shipping goods into the country and so to the original price post pandemic and so forth. So they said they did that because they wanted it to have this ripple effect, basically that it's going to cause the prices on the shelf of goods on the shelf to actually decrease. We are yet to see that. So again, this is another example of the government's policy that they're utilizing, which they have been from day one. They have a system that they're using, which we call this whole trickle down economics, when they believe if they compensate the ones at the top, then eventually it's going to trickle down to the ordinary man at the bottom, and we are yet to see that because the businessmen that have been benefiting at the top from that policy put forward by the government, they are yet to change a single price of the items on the shelf. So what do you say about that?
So what they're saying what they're saying is that they still have goods that they bring in from the beginning. That is what they're saying. But the thing is the government doesn't have a system or a mechanism in place to monitor these goods and services that came in the time that these business persons are saying came. And they also don't have a ceiling that is set, like we usually, like remember Forrest Barnum, he had a ceiling he used to set. So if you're gonna sell beyond a certain price, you take advantage of your customers. He said that people used to go around and play it close and buy from you. And when he found that you increase your price, you immediately suspend your license or take away your license. That is system you got to put in place to monitor these. You got the consumers affairs who I think need to up their game. So we're talking about the increase of prices, and I said because when you see the ship bring the goods into Guyana, there are not enough goods to take out back. So what happens? The shipping line have a tendency of increasing the cost, and we know since the COVID-19 things has been a bit heavy on the shipping. We understand that. I want to chip in here also, Jurita, if you permit me here, 1 minute on it, is that the private sector, I'm not hearing much from them in terms of this increase, because the cost of living has increased, has gone to 14% to date. It increased to 14% when you think it's from early 2020 to now. The private sector is not saying anything much on the increase of prices. They're not representing by saying, you know what, the businesses need a tax break. Since the COVID-19, there are business has not been function 100%. Like you have like certain bars and so on, shops have been reduced to 40% of the capacity. What are you doing in terms of the taxes for these people? What about the NIS and so on? Are you going to give a tax break? Are you going to subsidize the agriculture sector to ensure that the price comes down? These are the things that you're supposed to be talking about. These are things that you have to start put in place. These are systems. We have the Natural Resources Fund, which is the oil money, but you have a tendency of borrow high from the IMF. You can put subsidies into things. These are things that you have to start to do. You have to start what we had the Grow More campaign. Encourage people to do more farming. We have to expand. We have to expand on the agriculture sector as much as we can. You're going to pump now. You're going to ask for an additional $1.6 billion for Gaisuku to do what? Put the $1.6 billion into this cash cap farmer, and you will see the benefit. That is what you need to do. You're going to pump it into industry and to a thing that isn't going to bring back any profit to you.
Well, Ricky, that the recommendations that you are making more so would be recommendations to that a government that cares about ordinary people would take heed to. We have a government right about now that only cares about enriching the wealthy. That is a fact. We are yet to see otherwise. If there's anyone that has evidence of otherwise, they feel free to present those facts. But so far, every single policy decision that has been put forward by the PPP administration was put forward to benefit the rich and wealthy. It appears as though that they are still in the process of repaying a debt, And Ricky, Mr. Basdio, I want you to just give you the opportunity to just wrap up on this discussion right now, because I know, like I said earlier, you've been on the ground, you have been having a first-hand experience as to the plight of people, of poor people. How do you think persons are going to be able to manage, and for how long would they be able to manage? And I can further say that the public servants of this country, whilst we have cost of living on the increase, they're yet to get 1 penny increase from this administration. So nobody could dare say to me that the government cares for the ordinary citizens of this country, because they have shown me absolutely nothing to represent caring for poor people. Now, Mr. Bazio, let me give you an opportunity to wrap up on this topic, because I see our time is going, and I want to touch a bit on what happened today. So please wrap up on this. Let me know how longer do you think persons are able to deal with the increased prices? We have some items going over 100% increase, some even over 200 and 300% increase. This is a reality on the ground. How are persons going to survive this period altogether? We see the government is not going to come to our aid. The government is only going to the aid of persons that I think that they see that they can benefit from. So how are poor people to survive this period? What are our recommendations to these people?
Well, I will start off by saying, if they could give $1 billion out to Region 6 as for the flood relief for farmers and people who operated the pumps and things like that, they should come back and give some more money to every single household. Everybody was affected. The people in the schemes was affected miserably. They lost things like the foundation for their houses. They have to go back and do some concreting. They have to go back and do a lot of work. I see them in Albion 74 going into that scheme in the back because of the water took so long to recede. They have to spend money on concrete and blocks and things like that, and do all the kind of repairs. and I don't see, any cooperation coming from this present administration to give across the board in Berbice. All the regions too are affected, but Berbice, as I go around the place, people are crying out. People are not getting enough because 2 months have affected them so bad that they can't do. When you get the old saying, you can't catch back your level, right? Because if they used to use 1 5-pound bag of rice like for 3 days, they got to stretch it now, and that's not right. You cannot malnutrition people. People accustomed to a lifestyle, give them what they deserve.
The good life. The good life.
Yeah, they're taking advantage of these people. And come election time, I think, like I always say, you keep the people, the PPP administration especially, in low poverty level, uneducated, and then, come election time, you get that $3,000 and you lorry them around with a red shirt and expect to vote for you. Today, this afternoon, you best know that they're not going to vote for you guys. And these people promise that no matter what you come with, no matter how much bridge and how much dam and everything you grade up and things like that, all over the place, not over in Guava Bush, in Port Paranca and Cavill. See the deterioration with those potholes. You think those people are going to vote for you? These people cannot vote back for you, and they promise that. And I think these people are going to hold out this time not to vote back for this present administration that we have taken advantage for 23 years. Plus, again, they come back in power and the same fake promises, all promises that's not going to happen. Look at the sugar industry, and I could elaborate more and more and more. Like I had the biggest joke today on top of the bridge, Ricky, at Guava Bush, because they were bringing in the school, they lock in the school compound, the kids can't play in the afternoon. And one of the ladies said, she sister called from overseas, if you want to know how important education is, listen to the present president of Guyana speeches. Not one time, not two times. How much mistakes he's making with these words. So education is important, my brothers and sisters out there, right? It's very, very important. Send your kids to school. I know what people are struggling, Ms. Zaretta. They are really struggling. And I think we got to do something. And there's a lot of hoarding I see too. So 1 or 2 items that are essential for the consumption of the people, they are holding it back. In these Chinese stores, up to this afternoon, I went in there. They are holding back 1 or 2 items, like the hand cleaners and things like that. They are holding it so they could spread it thinly. They don't have it, and then all of a sudden they bring it on the shelf the next day, put on $50, $100 added onto it. We cannot have that.
Monitored. Absolutely none of that has been monitored. The important things. I want us to move on because again, we're going to be pressed for time. But there's so much happening in our country right now, and we need to speak about the devastation of the fire today at the Brick Dam police station. Looking at it, you can't help but sigh because this is something that should have never happened. The Brick Dam police station should have been one of the most secured buildings there, and to see that the building completely engulfed in flames, it was not something easy to look at. And I want to commend also at this point, I know my colleague Mrs. Sherrod Duncan, he was on and with the leader of the opposition, Mr. Joseph Harman. They were on at 3:30 and they gave a detailed account of what transpired there today. And Ricky and Derek, we have seen so many things that have been unfolding since last year, since this government took office, and it's very painful to actually see the incompetence that is being meted out in the management of every single ministry with this government. I want to note 3 points actually, and I'm going to take it directly out of the statement issued by the leader of the opposition. I know the leader of the opposition issued a statement today in which some demands were made, and he made both short-term and long-term demands. But I just want to go through the short-term demands that were made. There are just 3 demands, and the first one say a full inventory and disclosure of what was destroyed by the fire. And I know this is and I think we're being a little ambitious to believe that we're going to actually see at any point in time a full inventory and disclosure of what was destroyed by the fire, but we're still hopeful. The second demand being an announcement by the government on the plans to reassure the citizenry that the public security situation is under control. Now, this is a big one, and we're going to go into it a little bit more moving forward. But any assurance that the public security situation is under control, I mean, this is something that we've been talking about for the longest while. Persons are not convinced at all that that is under control, more so with the devastating fire today. And the third demand for the short term being immediate information from the leadership of the disciplined forces to give comfort to the citizens of Guyana. And some very good demands, very modest, very simple things to come from the administration, but we are yet to see any response thus far that's even close to meeting those demands. And again, I say that it is a very, very sad situation. It is devastating. It was painful to look at that building being engulfed in flames. I know Mr. Nigel, you made a very profound statement on his Facebook page when he spoke to the fact that he was insisting to the personnel on the ground, the police and persons from the fire service, that the fire hydrant in front of his office, that it was in working condition, and they basically told him no, it's not, until the citizens, I believe, of Leopold Street actually went and opened it and the water came gushing out. But too late was that one. So a whole lot more questions than answered, like so many other things in Guyana, and we are left now with that building, well, with that compound completely destroyed. I think the only building that remains is this the police barracks, and so it is a very, very, very sad situation. Ricky, let me invite you to make comments on what played out there today.
Well, there's a sad thing because I was on my way to Georgetown and I saw the big smoke, so I probably thought that something else is burning. But as I get closer, it was huge, and then I've learned that the police station, Brigham Police Station, has burned. It's very sad. I hope that there were no injuries to anyone there. I've got to follow much details on that, but I know there's some sick and how to put it, some lame comments that somebody walked in. I think that's what the police are trying to see. Somebody walked in and started a fire, which is supposed to be a secure location. That is troubling. You know what I mean? You stop fabricating things and get to the bottom of it. Let the fire service determine exactly the cause of the fire. But then if you suspect is internal, then you know what's going to happen. It's going to be a cover up. So I'm very happy that our leader, opposition leader, demanded certain things to ensure that we keep on top of it, and it's very important that we do that because the it's you don't know exactly the records that was there, what are other evidence.
And because I believe that there were claims that some records were saved, but very critical records were destroyed. So again, when the coalition was in office, we had started actually the digitization of record keeping, of police records and so forth. I don't know how the PVP administration has been dealing with that, if they had shelved that project altogether, because when they went into office, what they basically did was start to shelve every single project that the coalition started, with absolutely no justification for same, with the only justification being, well, we didn't start it, so let's not continue it, right? So I don't know how that has been. I know that this is a technological world, and we definitely need to move away from a system of paper, and that doesn't suffice in 2021. It doesn't make sense, because today now we are going to be struggling to figure out how much information was actually lost in that fire today?
Yeah, well, we created when we were in power, we created something called the ISIS system. It's a system that is fully computerized and used and managed by the Ministry of Home Affairs, and we had a central system, the IT guy there, that control and store all information. And it used to have a report from all the police station that goes into one system. Like for example, crime, you can know by the time the crime, when there's a crime at the station or whatever being reported, you enter straight into the computer system. That, of course, I think that probably must be collapsed by now. Similarly, like we have the smart city that projects. I don't know what happened to that now. And then we had the 911 system, and we were building the command center at Turkine, where all this security system would have been in one place and one location, safe and would have been away from the fire. Like how the records are there. It would have, despite this hard copy, it would have still be electronic copy. So I don't know what's happening there.
Well, we're gonna be following. We're gonna be listening to the updates, and I do hope that we'll be getting very steady updates from the police force on what is the way forward, and a detailed report. And I know I am desperately looking forward for those 3 short-term demands to be met by the police. The demands from the leader of the opposition. Mr. Bazzi, before I come to you, I just want Ricky to just jump right into the fact that we were already experiencing rising crime rates in Guyana. Every single day there is something new. We have persons in broad daylight, robbing persons every part of this country. It's like the situation was already out of control. So now with this fire, how do you see it us moving forward?
Look, to moving forward here, it's difficult because that's a very I think that's the administrative branch of the from Georgetown to Timiri, and it's a very important branch of the police force. They have to certainly rebuild and to ensure. Well, they have to first know what record has been destroyed. As I said, we have some short-term demand. They will have to try the best to see how they can. I don't know how they can get the records intact back. I don't know how they'll do it, but it's tough to move forward here. They'll have to rebuild back, but I think that's the whole sign of the thing. They have to rebuild back the station.
Yep.
And that's the way they're gonna be. So I think things are really out of control. I mean, this chaos from the one. Look, we are moving from one end to the other here with since over a year now. From crime to COVID to corruption to cash grant corruption. All these things. Crime. I don't know where we're going. To flood. I don't know what else.
I think the PVP needs they're bad altogether for this country. From the very first day they've been in office, we have been going from one devastating experience to the next, and today just been an example of such. Mr. Bazzi, I want to pull you in at this point. What is your take on that? And further, could you just give us a little update on the crime situation in Berbice? What is going on there?
Well, the crime situation, comparison, I'm not gonna lie about it. When Mr. Kemraj was the public security minister, it was a vast difference. Piracy at sea and everything is abolished, and up to now, there's still a reflection Mr. Kemraj's seriousness with his zero tolerance for piracy, and also crime on the whole in Berbice. It's kind of getting out of hand, but I think, and I'm gonna give our commander and our assistant deputy commander some perks here, that they're doing a wonderful job with a little kind of machinery. That means the access to vehicles and things like that in these stations. They're doing their work. The police are doing their best, but they always a time where they go through the back door with these criminal activities and things like that. And the police are working. They are working, but I think the vehicles and the 911 call to these stations are not enough. Once again, I live opposite the Albion police station. the mobile transport, the people, the task force is always on the road, and not only the traffic stops, they are in the schemes. I could see them going into various schemes in the areas and things like that. But I think the Ministry of Public Security should enforce and give these police station vehicles, good access to vehicles, and then the roster system for police working on the shifts, especially at night. Give the strong, aggressive ones most shift at night. Don't bring the females too much. Let the females work in the daytime, because
Yeah.
crime gonna escalate. Because criminals on the whole, they evaluate things. Now, I just want to touch one thing with the Brickdam station there. Just one simple thing. Let the police and the fire captain do their work and do their investigation and see if there's a negligence there that caused it or an accidental thing. Let it do their negligence, because this thing can lead to other stories there, because there's a lot of criminal files there and everything else in the system. And like you were saying, Ms. Jaretta and Mr. Ricky, about the database system. Come on, what are you waiting for? So much of money and so much of grants you get in, right? Bring in the database system. Pick up from where Mr. Kemraz left off.
Yeah.
Don't wait. Don't wait. Start from the
Derek,
same.
yeah, Derek, you're quite right. Look, it might be too childish to say that, because majority of the police station are wooden buildings. If you go up and look across the country, majority of wooden buildings. And even though if they rebuild, they're still making it wood. Now, if you know you have important records, you have the fire service at your disposal as an arm of the Ministry of Home Affairs. You have to go in and inspect these people record, where they store in a record, and ensure you have fireproof safe. You understand? And these are the things that you have to do and make recommendation is. In terms of the crime, as soon as they enter power, extrajudicial killing. How much we have to date? We have over about 10 to date. We have one, this guy, what's his name? Joshua Denny, who I think he later rested today. May his soul rest in peace, and his family, his condolences to his family. Young guy, 19 years old, shot and killed. I think this afternoon they nabbed the two guys at Turkine, was on a motorcycle. They nabbed the two guys. But you see, my problem is this. You are hearing all these crimes, you're getting these crimes are happening, but you are taking so long to solve them. You don't really find anybody who commit these crimes. When we were in power, something in half day or half an hour, we get the culprits.
Yeah.
Until we have to expand the Mazaruni prison.
It's a major difference, Ricky, and we are out of time right now, so I'll have to just take closing remarks, I think, from both yourself and Mr. Bazio. But I just say in my closing remark, I will just say that, Mr. Bazio, it was quite surprising for me to hear you say that the Borby, the police station there in Borby, they don't have the resources, but yet we have the personnel there are trying their best with the little that they have. It's quite surprising that they don't have the resources when the PPP is coming to the National Assembly and asking for money, not to strengthen the force there, not to give them more equipment, but rather to have an additional unit equipped and outfitted. So this is the nature of the administration today, and it is very sad. We continue to encourage the men and women in uniform to continue to do your best. We know it is difficult. You have poor management at the very top, but we implore that you remember that your job is to protect and to serve and continue to do the excellent job that most of you are doing. I say most of you because I'm going to acknowledge the fact that some persons are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. So, Ricky, I'll invite you right now to just give your brief closing remarks, and Mr. Bazio, you'll just follow right after Ricky.
Thank you, Jorita, and I want to say thanks to our Barbarian and all of those persons who are watching and listening to us, to invite to allow us into your home, and I want to ensure that you that during this tough time that we're going through here, especially COVID-19, to stay safe, keep your family safe, protect yourself, follow all the guidelines as much as you can to ensure that stay safe. Until next Saturday, do have a good night.
Yes, it's a pleasure to be here, MP Ricky and MP Jaretta. And I want to say that I know for sure that the chairman for the RDC and the vice chair and councillors of the PPP are watching this show. And come this Thursday, don't be surprised when residents going to be coming out with their water bottles to show you the color of the water in Gangaram, in Betsy Gronkanji, in Port Morant, in Albion Guava Bush, like this afternoon they were telling the vice chair, they take the water so much times at Gaiwa in Chesney. Also, people in Skeldon, they are suffering with this water. The only place got a little bit of good water is Palmyra number 2 into Shitanka because of that new well that they put in there. What about the rest of the people? We got a well in the Firish, almost in the cemetery, right next door. So my RDC fellas, come this Thursday, I'm going to bring, this is not nothing you hear yet on this program. I'm going to bring the people there probably to come and demonstrate. And I'm not encouraging any slackness. The people are suffering and they want to come. And I cannot stop them, right? They're going to follow the COVID guidelines. My brothers and sisters out there, until next week, it was a pleasure to be in your homes tonight. And I hope you guys listen and take advice from doctors and the frontline workers about this COVID. It's serious. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening on social media and on television. And I would like to say thank you so much to my panel tonight, Mr. Bazio and Ricky. It was a pleasure to have you both having discussions with us tonight. So until next week Saturday, 8 p.m., we're always here, and we look forward to having you join us once more. Good evening.